Welcome to TRS Clips, India's fastest learning portal. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell icon. This is going to be the most non-sleazy, most straight up, most real conversation about sex on the Indian internet, especially, but hopefully the world's internet. Because I feel like a lot of young men, especially, but even young women, don't get the right guidance when it comes to good sex, when it comes to the right practices related to sex. And that's why we'll be talking about this super openly. I also feel that these are conversations that weren't really spoken about that much earlier on, and we need to be the generation that normalizes conversations about sex. So without wasting any further time, let's talk about 10 tips that will absolutely change up your sex life and will absolutely boost your sex life into new levels of niceness, basically. Keep in mind, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a sexologist. I'm a podcaster. I've had the luxury of speaking to health experts like Luke Coutinho, Kama Sutra experts like Seema Anand, and the 10 points I'm going to talk about in this video are kind of a cumulative outcome of those conversations and countless offline conversations I've had about sex with friends my age, people younger than me, people older than myself, men, women, people from the LGBTQI community. But of course, sex is subjective. These are sort of 10 generalized rules that I hope will help you. Rule number 1, very basic. It's called CCP. Consent, comfort, and protection. Consent, do not force yourself on anyone. Hurts me that we have to even address this as one particular point. It should kind of be hardwired in our heads that you don't try forcing yourself on someone physically without their consent. If she says no, it means no. If she says I don't know, it means no. Every young guy should know this. That's the golden rule of sex. That's the basis. Do not force yourself on anyone. A lot of guys, young guys especially, get carried away basically because of their own horniness. They can't help themselves in that moment and they kind of almost force themselves on their partners. If your partner's not giving you their consent, you don't take the act forward. You control yourself, you take a step back. Consent is the basis of not just good sex, but sex in general. Please ensure this box is ticked before moving forward. Comfort. This is sort of the next level of consent. Say you're starting to get physical with someone and you just kind of feel a vibe that they're not comfortable with what y'all are doing. Revisit the consent conversation. If they're not comfortable with you putting your hand somewhere, with you taking it forward from just kissing the person, have a conversation with them, communicate a little bit with them. Only through communication will you know if the equation is comfortable. And the third one, another concept that's not really spoken about enough, with the age of online dating, with the age of dating apps, with the age of hooking up, the truth is that STDs are extremely rampant. I've had conversations with gynecologists about this, and they've spoken about how STDs are a lot more prevalent than they used to be, say, even 10, 15 years back. And there's data to back this. So please use protection, use condoms, have conversations about hygienic sex. Now we'll move on to point number 2. Point number 2 is where you might consider that it becomes spicy. The second basic rule of good sex after CCP is the intellectual and emotional connect that happens before you get physical with someone. We live in an age where so many people from our generation just believe that sex is about physical closeness, physical intimacy. Basically just banging raw bodies against each other. That's not good sex. That's forgettable sex. Good sex, first of all, happens with someone that you love. Love improves the sex, even if all the other 8 points that we'll speak about after this, even if those points are not followed, but if you just love the person, if love is shared between two souls, that improves the quality of sex. Now, if you're not sure if you love the other person yet, one level before love, what's that called? It's called intellectual and emotional intimacy. Great sex doesn't begin in the bedroom. Great sex begins on the dinner table, when you're talking to the other person and you're getting to know the depths of the other person's mind first. Before having sex with that person, understand the person that you're going to have sex with. Understand a little bit more about them. Ask them deep questions. Understand the emotional corners of their mind. maybe understand the surface level version of their traumas. Understand them a little bit deeply, because that's where great sex begins. You'll be making it better for your partner through comfort. Create that comfort by having very deep conversation first. I personally would suggest that if you're dating someone, if you're seeing someone, you delay sex up till after the point where you've got to know the person and you have a certain sense of an emotional connect with them, an intellectual connect with them. Get to know the person first. Don't just jump into it.